My name is Richard Perry. I'm a sculptor working in the East Midlands. My background is in fine art sculpture. I went to a northern art college in the UK. I've been working maybe for 40 years making sculpture, sometimes in the public realm on a large scale. When I'm making up a sculpture for the public realm, it's a project that involves a particular place. I really want to make something that's placemaking and something that those people who walk past that every day will like and hopefully love. So that's the ambition, and I take the choice of material and the scale and the history of the place really seriously, and that drives the design. It's all informed though mainly by my studio practice. I think my inspiration comes from just things that are around from day to day, or particular landscapes that I like and revisit. Close to where I live, there's a small kind of volcanic pocket of granite stone. And if you look on a geological map of the UK, there's this little spot just around here. And you get really interesting juxtapositions of folded rock kind of jutting. I get a lot of inspiration from that. I get inspiration from kind of edgelands as well, where things are ordered and then they become less ordered and becomes wild. I like that kind of, that in-betweenness of things. I don't generally start with a narrative. Quite often a narrative or a kind of human feeling or something that reminds you of the natural world or the animal world will kind of start to appear in the work. And I quite like that. So my practice involves painting, drawing and sculpture. I generally in the morning do quite loose sketches in my sketchbooks, and I'll have a whole number of sketchbooks open. I do feel like they're much more spontaneous. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. If you're carving stone, mistakes are good sometimes, but you can't put it back once it's taken away. Both painting and sculpture do help each other, but clearly there are differences, and I see them as being separate but supporting each other. And I started carving wood, and then soon after started carving stone, and I just felt like it was the right material for me. I got really obsessed with the technical aspect of it, as well as the wonderful material itself. There are certain things that I like to do with Blue Irish limestone, which are to do with light and juxtaposition of planes, and I really like the stone. It allows me to bring those sorts of qualities out. But I would rather use a marble for something that was a bit more free-flowing and organic and softer. Since about 2012, I've been working in quite a hard-edged, geometric way. And recently, maybe 3-4 years ago, I started to think that I needed a kind of a foil, something that would help that work, but was completely different. So I just started making very free-form work that had nothing to do with the kind of articulation that the geometric work has, but it had much more to do with the way light will move over a modulated surface. I'll often start with a cube of stone, sometimes a found stone, and I'll simply make 2 or 3 cuts and produce some tangents. So there's something three-dimensional and geometric happening. And then I'll start drawing on the stone. I can imagine that line being, in the depth of the stone, not just on the surface. So people look at my working practice and they can't imagine how I can understand all of these drawn lines all over this thing and come to a conclusion. But it's a strange thing. That's kind of how it happens, really. I will kind of think 2 or 3 moves ahead and maybe make mistakes and then have to readjust, sometimes everything. It's similar to chess in a way that you have to kind of think ahead. When I'm making a sculpture, I'm really interested in how the forms articulate, how they react to light. So I think I'm always looking for light sort of revealing a surprise. And I'll often, when I'm making a sculpture, turn it and think about it a lot and then turn it again. And that's a really, really exciting thing to do, that you've made something and you think it's nearly there and you turn it upside down and it's better. That is fantastic. And then you've got a whole new set of problems to adjust things, and that's kind of how I approach it. You know, the older you get, the more you think, oh, I really would have loved to have done that. So I would like to live forever and carry on trying things.